Welcome to Tramposaurus Trek's very first travel video. In this episode, we will find the best ways to connect with other adventurers in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. We will travel to Oman and visit a beautiful remote village perched on a shelf high in the Hajar Mountains. And finally, we'll spend the day hiking up over 1,000 meters and cross the mountain ridge before returning back to the village to end our trek. I called my Portuguese friend Irene, who is a very active member of Abu Dhabi Adventurers, an outdoors group that I was extremely involved in when I first moved to the United Arab Emirates 3 years ago. Irene was going hiking on my day off, with a new group I hadn't heard of before, Adventure Emarat. These groups, Abu Dhabi Adventurers and Adventure Emarat, are closed groups, but you can find them on meetup.com. Most recently, this last summer though, I was walking the Camino Português, a 650-kilometer walk through Portugal from Lisbon to Santiago de Compostela, and I asked if Irene wanted to join me on this epic journey, and she did join me for one day from Santorini, which is very near her home. As an avid hiker who enjoys a good trek on the coastal regions and forests of Europe, as well as through the wadis and mountains of the desert, I asked Irene what she thought of hiking in these very different climates.
Well, it's completely different. I like mostly that we hike without a path, without a road. It's much more exciting because you never know exactly what is the road. You go and you walk up the mountain, up the rocks, usually with someone leading that knows the way. But I like it because it's a different beauty. And people that never came in this area, they see the photos and they say there's no greenery, but that's what makes it beautiful. It's because it's different.
The Wakan village is about 150 kilometers from Muscat, located 1,400 meters above sea level and in the western Hajar Mountains. Before we started our walk, we first got our marching orders from the leader of the group. Remain silent while walking through the village, as to respect the people that live there. 2. Do not pick any of the fruit growing on the terraces. 3. Take only photos and leave only footprints. One of the reasons I respect these free adventure groups so much is that they carefully select their members and only allow people that have a great respect for nature to join their groups. If you are rude to locals, if you leave your trash, and if you do anything to ruin the natural surroundings, chances are you will not be welcome back on another trip. The trail we would take to the top of the mountain that day began at the base in this lovely little village. The first thing you will notice when you reach Wakan is the beautiful terraced gardens which are used to cultivate pomegranates, apricots, grapes, and other produce. We were lucky to be there just in time to see the beautiful apricot flowers in full bloom and the butterflies feeding on them. After 1.5 kilometers, 720 steps, and 30 minutes, you reach the watchtower at the top of the village. To reach the top of the mountain, just continue on past the watchtower for another few hours. The hike to the top of the mountain is fairly easy, with only a few places that you will need to use your hands to scale some rocks. Throughout the entire day, our views from the mountain pass were absolutely stunning, and whenever it came time to stop for a moment and catch our breath, rest for a bit, or eat a snack, we had the chance to talk to each other while looking out over the magnificent landscape. There was also beauty in the details as well. The twisted, withered trees I also found especially beautiful. The small group I had become attached to stopped for lunch, and I took the opportunity to launch my new drone for its first ever flight, out in the wild. The first flight went great. I got the flyover shot I wanted to get, so now it was time to climb back down to our starting point before we lost all of our light when the sun set behind the mountain. On our way back to the ridge to cross over to the other side of the mountain, we ran into the rest of the group, and I had decided one more drone flyover with the entire group was a great idea. However, on the way to bring my drone back in, I did a little too much exploring, and I flew my drone around a cliff and out of sight, and the moment I lost sight of the drone, I also lost radio signal. So sad to say that was the last time I saw that drone. But I would like to think it's living a happy and full life, flying around free range in the stunning beauty of the Hajar Mountains. At camp the next morning, I asked Ajay, the leader of the Adventure Emarat trip, why he loves hiking in Oman.
Oman is a fantastic place, probably the best in this region. And I like the tagline that Oman has, the beauty has an address, that's Oman. What I am told, Oman has seen a lot of progress during the term of the current Sultan. He has made this country what it is today, on infrastructure, on facilities to people. He is a benevolent person. I like Oman. I like coming back here again and again.
There are so many great places to explore throughout the United Arab Emirates and Oman, and every location has its own story. But travel is more than just about being in a different place. So take the time to invest in the moments and the people around you along the way. This is Forrest Mallard, and thank you for joining us on our trip to Wakan Village in Oman. See you next time.